Hi, no need to be shy. It's just the two of us, and Mugen, who's sitting on my desk. I recently started the Drăculești demo on a normally scheduled stream, and not only did it go longer than its time slot, but the demo was longer than could comfortably fit in a single stream, which is incredibly unusual. If you haven't seen part 1, there's a link in the description. Highly recommended to watch it first, or else you'll miss out on more than 2 hours of dramatic context for what comes next. Like this boy scamming on my desk. It's suddenly very important. Without further ado, let us head back into Drăculești. Oh, are you scared? Are you scared? Was it scary? Was it so scary? He's trying to warn me, but I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna listen. Gotta see what's up with that ghost. Can I load the game? Yes. In file 0. We're at the beginning of day 3 or so. We have the options to visit the kitchen for a proper meal, search for the missing Englishman, whose sister has no longer staying in the castle. We could ask the trade caravan for help, look for the ghost's sheet music, because we have a date scheduled, a piano playing date scheduled with the ghost and his phalanges. I'm assuming. I'm getting a little ahead of ourselves. We do have the option. So searching for the missing Englishman would be the bold choice. Excuse you. Asking the caravan for help would be the timid choice. And looking for the ghost sheet music would be the horny choice. And so we're looking at a piano for our date. I believe. Let's start. Looking for the missing Englishman, because that's what we were doing at the end of yesterday. We're about as much used to each other as two crabs in the same bucket, but my long list of fears would be an item shorter if I knew where the Englishman was. Every moment I don't know is time spent imagining him hung from a meat hook to dry or locked in a cellar, living like a living wineskin. Oh. Out of a mix of obligation to my fellow man and a selfish desire to be less anxious about him, I head out in search. From the pleasant guest rooms to the unimpressive stores to the grim remnants of the collapsed wing of the castle. There isn't a sight of him. Hey. Mistress Eilina, one of Dracula's wives. Mistress Eilina? Crossing back into the inhabited parts of the building, I spot her in the warmest, homeliest room. She's flat on a plainly but heavily furnished bed. If her eyes weren't wide open, you'd think she was asleep. Also, she's talking. Well, she's a known sleep talker. Allowed out now. On good behavior. Oh, I was attacked by the general, which was like a flesh horror in the dungeon, and it cut my Achilles tendon, so I was locked in my room to do my lawyer work. And then one of the servants in the castle who's also a trader, not traitor, she's a traitor to us, not for us, helped us down the stairs and then gave us Lord Dracula's opera cane for us to be able to get around. And we were only able to leave once we had written enough pages of legalese to say, like, okay, you've done your work for the day, Renfield. So, how's the leg is what Eilena's referencing. How's the leg? Sore, nothing patience and iodine won't heal. And time. I think your tendon's torn. Long claws, cut deep. Well, she's candid. Maybe she can explain. That thing in the basement, the general. What can I say? He's a casualty of bad command. Deserves better than what we give him. Did you all fight together, huh? How long has he been kept there? A while. Rolling over to face the wall, she folds her arms and knees against her chest. Best to leave her alone. For such a large house, it can be hard to find any privacy. Got 2 options left. We've done the bold thing and seen Eilena, although that was not our intention. Let's, I think the less committal, option between these two, I think the less committal option is probably looking at piano for the date, because we can tell ourselves that we're just looking through the castle, looking for. So locating a piano, just like you just like wander through. It's pretty easy to spot a piano or a piano-like object in a room. But looking for the sheet music requires a lot more attention to detail, looking through little things and getting up close, and a lot more intention. Like, that's what we're doing. It's harder to trick ourselves into looking for sheet music. So we'll sneak up on this whole dating the ghost idea and look at a piano. To play music, it's important to have an instrument. The castle doesn't seem to have a dedicated room. There isn't an organ in a great... Oh, there isn't an organ in the Great Hall. There were several organs in the Great Hall yesterday. So I'm not sure where to start looking, until I remember seeing a chapel somewhere on the ground floor. Religion and music go hand in hand down the down the aisle of almost every denomination in the world. Whatever faith Dracula practices, it ought to have some kind of accompaniment. Shoving the double doors inward, I find myself at the back seat of a 50-seat. Myself at the back of a 50-seat Orthodox church. Not huge, but bigger than the family needs. The densely ornamented walls and lack of windows make it feel cramped for its size. Too tight and decorated to feel like the synagogues I'm used to, which only increases the sense of alienation. These aren't familiar beliefs. It's even different. It's even a different type of Christianity to what they practice at home. Protestants don't clutter their churches. Multiple layers removed from my own faith. What am I doing here? You're looking for a piano. The only consolation is that Dracula doesn't seem to use it anymore himself. Instead of electricity or gas, the chapel is lit by bare candles, dripping from rows of candlesticks, not nearly dense enough to brighten the whole room. Candles that burn blue. The brightest surround the piano by the altar. As I approach, white static flickers around the edges of my vision. It intensifies it into an agonizing light. Ah! Then subsides to an aura and a headache. Squinting through the pain, I see him in a tight pose on the piano bench, elbows kept near his waist, spine as straight as can be, playing a new tune. I move closer to watch his lithe hands work the keys, except when I reach the end of the aisle, I notice the keys aren't moving. Why can I hear a song? Swan Lake, Moderato, written for the oboe. The piano, though, can cover almost any part in an orchestra, versatile as they come, able to play whatever role is required. It can be a lifesaver, or a mere panacea. It's the point of the piano. It's not a formal part of the ensemble, yet when it's gone, we miss its utility. always wanted, never needed. In the middle of the phrase, he slams his hands through the board. Instead of 10 notes, dozens play at once. Welcome to our lesson, Roger. Have you brought the music? The tones echo through the chapel. For a moment, the candles pulse pitch black. Not yet. I was gonna find the piano first, then go looking. The ghost remains seated, though his shoulders tense as he resists some angry urge. Yes, he's angry. It's been a minute since we've seen him, so I think that we have uh, the ability to stand tall based on the end of our last encounter. I had to find an instrument and the score. Halfway there, I hold steady. He can't scare me. Go back and get the music. It's not a request. Of course. Like an imploding star, there's another polytonal howl from the piano, and the candles condense into tiny nexuses of darkness, and then the pressure bursts outwards. The candles relight. The noise stops. The ghost is gone. Best find that music. Fast. I'll be due back at the tower all too soon. And then we look for the ghost sheet music. And take a drink of water. If the ghost wants sheet music, he must be confident that I'll find some around the castle. Several failed minutes of searching don't reveal any dedicated practice spaces, which means the best bet'll be the library. I think I've passed a library. With any luck, I'll be alone in here. It's hard to bluff why I suddenly need sheet music when I don't even know how to play an instrument. Can't so much as tell a double bass from a bassoon. A bassoon has strings, a double bass is brass, right? They make that squawking sound like, "Bwah!" Heavy. Dusting her hands clean, she swings her legs over the mezzanine rail and follows her book to the floor. Heard you coming. Had something to show you. It's recent, cloth-bound, red. Didn't have to throw it at me. Didn't have to throw the book at me, says. Near you. Don't be so melodramatic. She's the melodramatic one of the wives. Thought you'd accepted, I've got good intentions. Right, Dracula explained earlier, but face to face, it's harder to reconcile with that. Says is apparently also the smoke monster that saved us from the general. About last night. Thanks for cooperating. I get that being grabbed by a big scary monster when you're trying to avoid another one would be stressful. But he'd already gotten his claws in, and I figured bold action was required. If I'd known who it was, I would have been less argumentative. Yeah, obviously. Ugh. So, why what is it? A costume? Sure, Renfield. Exoskeleton, it's protective. Not that he'd bite me, just those claws are nasty enough on their own. The shell's stronger, he's got longer legs, horns are a decent weapon. Look, it's in my head, the whole thing looked different. In the moment, I forgot how other people see smoke, the horns, everything. To me, it's just, I don't know. Can we talk about something else? Ooh. It's not how the exoskeleton looks, it's that it tried to kill me. We're bold enough to confront her on it. And we do. Who doesn't want to be a big, tall powerhouse sometimes? If I dwell on it, I'll get jealous. I've had to settle for being myself, and being myself has landed me in the sanatorium at least once at this point. Going from attempted murderer to hero of the hour, though. Like I said, I had second thoughts. That's all the explanation I get? Second thoughts? Isn't it enough that I didn't strangle you? It's hard, by the way, strangulation. You have to look at the person the whole time, and it's a long time. You panicked, I panicked. Here we are. It's not the most calculated change of heart. How do I know it won't happen again? 'Cause says every time Vladdy hires the new help, uses them to his satisfaction, drains them dry, his plans move a little further along. We lose someone we started to care about. Kill them first, that's two birds with one stone. Sabotage him, protect us. Except I couldn't kill you. I'm not gonna kill you either. But this is a lot of tail in my face. Let's go, what's special about me? Nothing? She looks askance. Is that so? Ugh. Reaching out, she closes her hand into a fist, curls her arm inward, flexing her bicep beneath her sleeve. Hey, Rog, you've had work done, haven't you? Rog, wait, what? Hell, you're pretty close. Seemed to me there was a few bits missing, however you slice it. I don't mean to be crude, just... Am I right? Are we both different? That depends, no comment. I don't actually know what she's talking about, so let's say, that depends. Hedge it, get some information out of her. I think back on our past encounters. Outside of life or death scenarios, we've barely interacted, and says we're on the wrong side of one of those scenarios. Whatever we might have in common, we don't have trust. If you are to talk... if we are, we can talk about it later. I don't want to just recite my medical history to someone I've just met. Yeah, of course. She withdraws into her coat. I feel bad seeing how she's wilted, but I'm holding firm on this. Let's move along. Tell me about the book. With a sharp sigh, she shifts focus. The book. Despite how heavy it is, she lifts it single-handed and wraps her knuckles on the cover. I thought it'd be, thought-provoking. MSQ. Opere complete. I don't think my Romanian's good enough for a book this big. Huh. There's no English translation yet. Is there a reason you're showing me something I can't read? Mahani Eminescu is our national poet. The spirit of Romania itself. From a certain perspective, I don't know if I'd agree, but I can't argue that he's important. Part of his work is putting our folklore to paper, typical romantic stuff, heroes and princesses and dragons. How about this one? Dreamy men who appear in the shower of stars, all beauty and glamour, ethereal blue light, batting their blank, dead doe eyes. You know about him? Says nods carefully. If anyone says his name, they pay for it. We're supposed to act like he never existed, like he doesn't exist. Can't speak to him either. We're tuned to Vladdy's frequency. Anything loud enough to override him is bound to break our brains in the process. Despite the prohibition, this spirit is important to Sez, or we wouldn't be talking about him. Before he died, who was he? A wistful look tinges her face. All he's admitted is that he's a salesman, but that can't be it. God, no. He meant so much to me. Nobody else saw me for who I really was. If there's anything I can do to help him, consider it done. But for crimes he's committed, he doesn't deserve to be punished like this. Crimes? The ghost hasn't mentioned any crimes. He wouldn't, would he? The mundane stuff is under heavy guard, so who knows how tight the security on his actual secrets is. What does he need? Has he explained anything? Wait. Oh, wait, that was Says, my bad. He wants us to find his... What's this us bit? Do we have trust? We have built some trust. No. I want to jealously keep my ghost to myself. Nothing of substance. It's annoying. Be nice to him. He's short on material. No name, no date of death, no nationality, no next of kin. Thinks he can get by with nothing but a pretty face, like usual. Assuming you've found those weird billiards and whatever's in the bathroom, any idea to where to look for the rest of him? He said he'd play piano for me if I found him the music. Renfield, you're giving it all away. That'll lead her an opportunity to show off. A lead, I think? He was doing some showing off. He was already doing some showing off in the chapel, but he has more showing off to do. Oh my. I'm sure he's gutted, to be stuck doing that. I thought it was gonna be his fingers. As long as he's good, I don't mind. I really hope there aren't any cuts in the piano. Oh god, my god, that's not what I meant. I would think that his guts would be... Yeah, I thought his guts would be somewhere else in the house. You're adorable, you know? What? Renfield took it as literally as I did. Never mind, never mind. Before you get too excited, there's an experiment I'd like to try. She opens the book to a page with a woven bookmark. Mentioned not having much Romanian? Yes? Take a look at this. Luciferul. This game would benefit so much from having, like, phonetic pronunciation tooltips. That would be great. Although, perhaps, Renfield is as bad at standing it out as I am. Oesti promos comnuma vis un iger searta darpe kala ees desti numer neocat data. O thou art beautiful, but as in dreams an angel shows, the way through thou hast opened for me's forever closed. Stratava, we could skip to this translation now. Thy port and main and speech are strange, life thy gleams don't impart, for I'm alive and thou art dead, and thy eyes chill my heart. Why can I? Figures. She closes the book. In the basement, when I carried you out, I heard you speak a bit of Romanian. Unchi. Unless you've got family around here, there's no reason you'd call an uncle that, except... Is it... Oh, I was having a vision, about my uncle rescuing me from the devil and the Sultan being really pissed off about it. Renfield has visions. Is it to do with him? Yeah. When he latches onto someone, those fingers sink in deep, and he doesn't always care what he gouges loose. Have a nice date, make music together, help him find himself, but don't lose yourself in the process. Know when to say no. 'Cause for everything he gives, he takes. Language for language, memory for memory, thought for thought. If he doesn't get his own body... Mine isn't worth the material it's made from. That might not stop him. Promise you'll be careful and I'll go get the music he's after. Of course. Says nods appreciatively. With that settled, we set the book aside and proceed deeper into the library. Any requests? I hum the tune from our previous encounter tunelessly. She winces. If he ever offers his perfect pitch, except that. I kind of got the worst house, like how you can filter a piss into water. Spinning on her stiletto, she disappears into the back room of the library. Paper whips about and several boxes hit the floor while she mumbles over it all. Finally, she returns with a hand-bound music book in hand. Schubert's Winter Ice. The pages weigh heavily on a frayed binding. A lot of pages for what I assume was a single song. Oh, Renfield. Is it a symphony? A song cycle. She slaps my shoulder as she hands it over. Enjoy the lesson. After everything you've said, I'm worried I won't. Don't be afraid. Deciding the slap wasn't enough encouragement, she shoves me onward. Just be cautious. How can I not be? Clutching the book tightly to my chest, I take my leave. Seems to dissolve back into the shadows, consumed by the cavern of stories. Tens of thousands of books in competition for a single reader. Vulnerable, too, though adept at hiding it. The bookser says, back into the chapel. The night approaches its end, but I've done what I need to do. I find myself smiling as I re-enter the chapel. Got it! There aren't any lights now. A faint glow from the hall reflects from the gilded art on the walls. Despite the fact that he hasn't shown himself, I trust that I'm not alone. If nobody else in the castle interacts with him, his attention has nowhere to stray. Nope, I feel privileged. Don't care if it's a timid answer. That secret tingle at his attention. Normally, I wouldn't dream of catching the eye of someone like the ghost. It might be out of necessity, but I'll take it. When he appears, it's less ceremonious than before. The candles flare signature blue to reveal him on the bench, already facing his lone specter. Come on over. Approaching the bench, I lean past him to set the book on the stand within the bounds of his chilly aura. He sends a shiver along my skin. Well done. Satisfied with the music I brought, he pats the seat beside him, inviting me to join in the performance. We cram into the middle of the bench, where his leg brushes mine. It turns numb. How much experience do you have? They let me touch the glockenspiel once at school. God, it's like society wants good music to die. Have you heard any of Theodora's ghastly records? I didn't know she collected them. Americans going wham, wham, wham. He demonstrates on the keys. Time to fill these halls with actual artistry. Arching his long fingers along the middle of the piano, he draws a delicate tune from the center of the piano. But as he extends into the upper and lower ranges into what I realize is a tuning exercise, he reveals a number of bad notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or are his toes in the piano? Oh, I just had a flash of that scene in Everything Everywhere All at Once, where they have hot dog fingers and then they learn to play music with their feet. That was great. I love that movie so much. Okay. 10 bad notes. Atonal and almost inaudible. Rotten hammers, frayed wires. Concluding his demonstration, he gestures that it's my turn. Renfield, do you know chopsticks? Do you know heart and soul? Do you know Mary Had a Little Lamb? Reaching out, I press a single tentative note. It clunks down hard and fast. None of that practiced beauty, just a clumsy sound. It won't bite. Might deafen us. I try a few more notes. Clunk, 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 and abrupt and unpleasant. Can't you... It isn't a lesson if the teacher does all the work. But I can help. In a massive starburst harsh enough to scour the rest of the cosmos from the sky, he disappears. Tiny motes of light hover in the air where he was. The room hums in anticipation. What's his play? I prepare to stand from the bench, extending my hands to use the keyboard for balance. As I reach out, they trail a pale blue afterimage. My legs won't move at all. Something tugs my muscles and levers my bones, jolts my elbows straight, sets me back in position to play. A cold breath seeps into my ear. Sit up, your posture is awful. We'll defend ourselves. I'll sit how I like. Not anymore. Slowly, something draws my spine out until I'm seated as tall as it stretches. You're controlling me. I'm being worn like an ill-fitting suit. I've been possessed. Stop that. Oh. I think that even with our Renfield, who's secretly into it, the initial reaction to being possessed would be, stop that. You asked for me to intervene. His voice echoes around my skull like vertigo. I struggle to clasp my hands to my ears. He allows it. Ah ha ha, Renfield even knows that the ghost is allowing that movement. In what world would this be what I meant? Usually when people call for help, what they really want is for someone to do the job for them. Besides, you didn't actually think that I could teach you piano in under an hour, did you? I... I... I don't know what I expected. Don't know what you're capable of. Plenty. I'm full of surprises. Now he's taken my voice, resuming at the piano. He doesn't fully understand how to move me, and it's less accurate than his phantom performance was. It takes several taut descending scales for him to get a sense of his new limitations. The smaller hands, probably. While he's preoccupied, I manage to overpower him. Don't gloat at me with my own body! I'm not gloating, Renfield. Wait. Oh, Ghost in Renfield. I'm not gloating, I'm being forthright. Why should I play along anyway? What's the point? Isn't it obvious? Enough acting coy. I force my forearms flat across the keys. The ghost tries to pry it away. What are we doing? Roger, I am. In this brief skirmish of wills, I'm the victor. To release the next part, we need to perform the song perfectly. There aren't any other pianists in the castle. I am meant to be the challenge only I could succeed at. I'm incapable. For obvious reasons. A deadlock. Trapped forever. Dracula did this to him, but I haven't put a thought into why. I mean, Says has hinted at it. This is a lot of effort to keep a dead man buried. Unburied, technically. Was it revenge? Or was there a practical reason? Vampires are undead. Who knows what utility the ghost's corpse might have in their clutches? Or whatever, or what having it back under his power might mean. Just look at what he can do with someone else's body. How does he plan to use his own? I'd be a fool to assume he's only motivated by sentimentality. Do I want him as an ally? Knowing what he'll do, not knowing why he does it. But we don't know what he'll do. Give me your body. Now, for both of our sakes. I'm not your vessel. Even as much as like, I enjoy the flirtatious interplay between them, I think that our Renfield in this moment has the uh has the is not feeling the sexual tension in this moment. I think he's like, I'm not your vessel. Like this hasn't been flirty. You're just trying to control me and not telling me what's going on. If I'm getting all the vagaries, you're getting nothing. You don't mean that. Why wouldn't I? How do you intend to escape without me? We need each other. No, we don't. Well, we do need each other, but Ghost needs to be a little nicer to me. He needs to, like, we gotta go back to the flattery. This isn't mutual. It's like wading against white water. The ghost struggles to keep us on the bench, but I force my legs straight and stand, tipping it over behind me. A furious splash of electricity courses through me and knocks me to the floor, too. This is truly pointless, Roger. Get back here. Piss off. I thrust my arm out straight and hooked my fingers in the gap in the tiled floor. Hauling myself forward a few inches at a time, muscles cramped and trembling, I refused to pause or turn around. Don't you want me? He lifts my voice sickeningly high. Why don't you want me? He plunges it agonizingly low. I wish I had those directions before I read it. I don't want to be used under anyone's control. Unable to turn the tide, the ghost settles for beating me into submission. I try to get my leg under me. He kicks it out. I try to shuffle forward. He rolls me into a pew. I try to grab the back and haul myself upright. He pries my hand open so I crash face first into the upholstery. No, no, no! I'll come back for the rest of you someday. I manage to stand on my own 2 feet, but we are not doing this now, not like this. He sends a shock that could not overload. He sends a shock that could overload an entire electrical grid. Every visible inch of me sparks with blue light. Shuts off. I fall limp and alone in the middle of the aisle. His voice crackles through the frigid air. I can make you regret this. I can make you regret everything. Why not save that energy for Dracula? Something catches in his amorphous throat. The room flickers as he begins to cry. Why not? Why did I? I find my cane, and I limp out of the chapel. Come back! Come back! Oh, that's it for tonight. I was supposed to be escorted upstairs. I didn't need to be. I take myself back to the tower. It is easier to go upstairs than downstairs. The moment I enter the room, I collapse on the bed. What am I supposed to do now? Without the ghost to rely on, I'm back to my own wits. Above average, not spectacular, my own 2 legs, only one of which is working. It's not an ideal situation. There's no way I could have accepted him trying to mold me into his vessel. It gets uncomfortable just thinking about it. I refuse to be a vessel for anyone, let alone him, a man who treated me like an errand boy. The question, what to do, what to do, what to do, swirls around an inescapable miasmistic for 10 minutes, half an hour, until the sky lightens outside by just a shade. Dawn is coming. Once, when I was seeing a regular therapist before institutionalization at Stonehouse took the good coping techniques and replaced them with shock treatment, I was taught a useful strategy for breaking a nighttime spiral. Don't stay in bed, move to a different room, do a relaxing activity, and only return to bed once you've forgotten the problem or gotten too tired to care. Since I've got the cane handy and the vampires will be headed to sleep themselves, it's an appropriate moment to try that tactic here. Worst comes to worst, I'll meet Miss Popskew or the caravanners in the halls, and I don't think they mean any harm. I didn't Miss Popskew feed you very suspect meat? Clambering to my feet, I set back downstairs to do something relaxing, like have a cup of tea. Yes, I'll have a cup of tea. The kitchen is on the main thoroughfare. I don't have any trouble remembering where to find it. There aren't any electric kettles, but we have a stovetop model. We had a stovetop model until I was about 20, and I've got no issue using those instead. Oh, wait, when were electric kettles invented? Because this is in the 30s. I'll look it up later. No, I'm looking it up now. Electric, uh, okay, history. Electric kettle history. History timeline. Okay, okay. Um, wait, stovetop electric kettles. Some used to boil water. It was developed in the 1890s by General Electric in London. 1890s! So, electric kettles have been around for 30 years, 40 years by the time this game. That blows my mind. I grew up as somebody who grew up using a stovetop kettle. I'm like, Renfield, just use a stovetop kettle. Yeah, I had a stovetop model until I was okay, 2025. But that was in the new millennium. Okay. The stovetop itself has an ignition. Impressive, which means the process is still as simple as filling the jug and pressing a button. The hardest part is carrying the kettle between the tap and the oven. It's wrought iron, could be 100 years old. It isn't meant to be held single-handed. I'm using a cane. While it comes to a boil, I locate the tea shelf where there's rows of jars of leaves and a few types of strainer. Since the labels are Romanian, I take a chance on something marked te. It sounds a bit like tea. It could be a plain local variety, like chai in India. Once it's boiled, I pour it on the leaves. A pleasant herbal flavor rises from my cup. The perfect brew for a sleepless night. It did not occur to this guy to smell the things in jars, smell the leaves in the jars, because he had chamomile on a previous night and could have just like, is this chamomile? Is this chamomile? Uh, Herbals want 3 to 5 minutes to steep in my experience, so I take a wander around the rest of the expansive kitchen. If it gets used, it wouldn't be for normal food, except the breakfasts you've been eating for the past week, but it's clean and tidy and fully equipped. Any restaurateur would be happy with their facilities. Pots of every size, labeled spice jars, clean metal and stone surfaces, a cellar door in the corner providing direct access to the cool storage of the basement. Knives galore, hanging racked in drawers on benches. They shouldn't need that many knives. Tea's steeped, I clean the leaves into a bin and pull up a chair at the center island. Not that I'm worried about the family, but I feel uneasy having my back to the door, so I position myself where I've got a clear view of anyone who comes in. Since I don't have any milk in the tea, it's hot. Uh, it's hot. Hot enough to burn the tip of my tongue when I take the first sip. Ha-cha-cha-cha! Flavor's good, light and aromatic, calming. I can hear people in the distant courtyard. The majority of the caravaneers keep to a nocturnal schedule, but not all. Craftspeople who need daylight, children who need homeschooling, tireless Miss Popskew. There are noises in the castle, too. people changing shifts. I don't know what time of day it is. Mostly Renfield's been like waking up in the late afternoon, early evening, like around sunset. But the game doesn't do a lot to indicate it is dawn, it is midnight, it is daylight outside. Russell's in the basement where I presume produce, euphemistic or not, is being stalked. Crypts are being climbed into, and the missing Englishman just might be found. A slow creak comes directly beneath me. The cellar, it must have additional entrances. The trapdoor is narrow. It'd be annoying to take big deliveries of casks and crates through that way. Here, enjoying a cup of tea, being at peace with the movements of the castle is effortless. I could drift to sleep on this stool. Life is okay. Someone kicks the stool out from under me. Ah! Ah! The thing from the basement. The general. I catch myself on my cane and stumble backwards. The general splinters the wood stool beneath his booted foot. Oh. Grabbing a knife is easier to wield one-handed. We went over how heavy the kettle is. But based on how the general is composed of just like metal bits, I absolutely think that the kettle is the better weapon here. Sweeping my hand over the stove, I grab the kettle by the handle and arc it around in front of me. Using momentum, good strategy, Renfield. Completely by accident, I deflect an incoming swipe from the general's claws. While he's disoriented, a split-second opportunity, I reverse the kettle's trajectory and throw it at him. Like a first swipe, catch the momentum on your shoulder, then throw it all back at him. It strikes his helmet with a boxing bell clang. Hurr! He judders back. I abandon my half-finished cup of tea and flee the room. Sprinting into the corridor, with a moment's lead on him, I get my chance to ask, what is he doing here? Especially when there are other people around. Why me? Is he behind some top-level supernatural security? How'd he breach all those bars? What drove him past that many obstacles? The general was behind a silver door of bars that had no keyhole and no handle on the other side. Did someone let him out? Did he let himself out? If I face him alone, it'll be suicide, which means my best course of action is to find somebody else. Guiding him towards the courtyard will get people killed. Where is the family? Dracula. Dracula can take care of him. It's basically sunrise. The four of them should be asleep. The vampires sleep in crypts. Where's the crypt? Yesterday, it was somewhere around here. It's close. Renfield accidentally found the staircase, actually wandered into the crypt yesterday. The general burst into the hall behind me. He's too scary for Mugen. His hair and shirt are soaked from the kettle. Hurrah! He charges! I race around the corners in search of the nearest basement access. The lower levels are as inscrutable as they were before. I haven't seen the general in minutes, thanks to how many corners there are to turn. He has too much momentum for fast cornering, I guess. The only evidence he's here with me is the rattle of his armor. Being subtle doesn't matter. He can hear or smell enough that he doesn't lose track, distance never increasing or decreasing. Rubber banding. Speed isn't what's needed, only rushing through an unfamiliar environment. It seems like my hasty decisions are taking me further from where I want to be. Every wall is made from identical stonework. Every entrance leads to an empty storeroom. Every footstep deeper into a nightmare of sameness. Desperate for guidance, I cry out, Dracula! Theodora! Cesara! Elena! Nobody's there. Except him. Turning on my heel, I double back. Grim confusion sets in. The lights are fading. The hall goes on forever. I may not have found the crypt, but I have found My grave. There's a crack in the floor. There's a crack in the floor. I trip, plummet face first, smash the lens of my glasses. After all we went through yesterday. Now he loses his glasses. When I fumble for them, a mass of tendrils lick around my other arm. I get a hold of the bridge, set them back in place, and turn to face him. The ghost is there instead. Instead of unaccountable tendrils, 5 delicate fingers clutch my wrist, and he stares at me, the picture of serenity. He kneels by my side, terribly cold, leans in to offer a grievous embrace. Well, we'll have to send for another lawyer. I hope you're happy with yourself. Miss Popskew, what's left of... Miss Popskew, distill what's left of Master Renfield. Bride, see if there's anything of value in his suitcase. And as for you, I could add 10 years for that. We'll settle it tomorrow. Yes, everything will be clearer tomorrow. What? Memento Mori. What? What? It's been a long time since I... Huh. So grabbing the kettle didn't work. Huh. I'm surprised that we went, like, that took us so far to that kind of ending. Let's grab a knife. Carving. Launching towards the nearest rack, I yank a massive carving knife free. As I turn back to... I thought we were going to have, like, a nice moment with the ghost and make up. As I turn back to him, the general closes the gap, claws outstretched. I block the lead gauntlet with the knife. As they clang, they meet, but instead of rebounding, the tiny tendrils slither out from inside his metal shell and wrap around the blade. He's distracted for a moment as he figures out what he's snared. I abandon my half-finished cup of tea and flee the room. Sprinting into the corridor with a moment's lead on him, I get my first chance to ask, what is he doing here? Especially when there are other people around. Why me? Is he behind? So, like, then this is all the same. Mace Malone will be suicide. So we head to the crypt. Yeah, all of this is the same as before. Identical walls. This is all the same. Nobody is there. Yeah. Crack in the floor. And then it's the ghost. So we'd have to go back farther? I'm a bit puzzled. I am quite a bit puzzled. I wonder if going back to yeah, there's probably like a fork in the maybe there's a fork in the piano scene where like we resisted too much, and if we had given in, it would have led to a more a different feel. Oh, there's many files. I've reached an ending. I can I could call it here, but I want to see what taking a different tactic in the ghost piano scene will do. So, back with a ghost, we did bring this is the possession sequence, so we did bring the music. Yes. Yes. There is a little bit of feels bad in that we made a choice. The choice we made in the kitchen was utterly meaningless. Uh, so even going back to that, like you can't steer yourself right. Like I think that refusing the ghost in this scene is probably what. Oh, because if we anger the ghost here, he doesn't want to help us when up against the general. It's still unclear like exactly what happened in that death scene, but let's re refocus and not be quite so defiant here. So let's see where this is going. Take it in stride. Ghosts possess people. That's what they do. This might not be what I had in mind, but it's not bad yet. Is this okay? His tone doesn't care. His tone says he doesn't care whether it is or not. It's just polite to ask. Yes. Wonder how many excuses he had if I prepared to challenge him on it. Do whatever's necessary. Excellent. Now he's taken my voice. Resuming at the piano, he doesn't fully understand how to move me, and it's less accurate than it was his phantom performance. It takes several taut descending scales for him to get a sense of his new limitations. But while he's preoccupied, I managed to overpower him. Now there's like more danger in. Use whatever. Use my voice. That's not yours. A voice you hate the sound of. Why get precious about it? How does he know all my neuroses? What gives him the right to that? He won't so much as tell me his name. But we will still have to put up with him. There's something wrong with him. A lot wrong. But he hasn't eaten anyone in front of me, and that puts him above the rest of my options. Why don't we just both shut our mouth and play? Let's. Releasing the last finger holds I had on myself, I yield everything to him, to his machinations. Have fun with me, bastard. Confidence amplified, the ghost drifts from the scales into what must be a piece on the front page. Winter ist, number 1, Gute Nacht. A stranger, I arrived. A stranger, I depart. Do you know the story of Winter Ice? It has a story. Schubert loves his Lieder, musical poems. This is one of them. A man is rejected by the woman he loves. We join him on his ride home through the forest on that bleak night. Along the journey he has a variety of encounters which culminate in pages of the songbook flicker ahead without us touching them. Song 21. Das Wursthaus. A brief rest at the graveyard. A favorite? When I last played, now I don't know how to feel. Under his conduction, my voice is refined from a flat, faltering thing to a full, flowing instrument. How does he make it seem effortless when I've spent years trying and failing to bend it to my will? Ugh. Don't speak. He stops me before I've said a word. Remember, we can't make any mistakes. That goes for the vocals, too. I want to ask him how he's outdone me at being myself when I've had a lifetime to practice. Tags da kat wol die zaken sin, die mut wanderladen in hast wash hars in. A low laugh resonates in my head between stanzas. It's not that hard to operate something if you just adjusted to the controls. It's not hard to operate something if you adjusted the controls. What do you mean? Don't dwell on it. Ghost! In a fright, I try to wrest my hands from the keys. He keeps them. And the music. Steady. Careful! All I did was restring your vocal cords to reduce the pitchiness. It was nothing. Not like lengthening your fingers. My voice doesn't sound right because it's not my voice. When I glance at my hands, it's true. They're not mine either. The color is right, the freckles and filed nails, but the joints are longer, the length of an average man's. What has he done? How did he... He's a ghost! Since when can ghosts... Not to worry, all reversible. I'd never alter anything without due cause. Unless you've got a request. What else can you do? What he's doing, bending my bones, shifting my skin to his whims, should disgust me. It's a breach of trust, autonomy, biology. Instead, I'm transfixed by the results, by the possibilities. The ghost senses my interest. With the right materials to hand, I can make anyone into anything. Break your pieces apart, leave you a cross-section celebration of human anatomy, reshape you into someone else, whoever you'd like, say a name. Imagination's the only limit. Touch feather light. Touch feather light, notes immaculate, all grace. He spreads my fingers, splays them impossibly wide, flaunting what he's done with them. I feel a frisson of anticipation. What else does he have planned for me? I'll let him do it. Everything will be in its proper place. Sin den heist dein heikamen albeset bin mazum zaken dis bin tolik survestlik. Our eyes close. Transcending my hard-won sheet music, he feels the patterns and intricacies of the song in his soul, totally fluent in its emotional language. Something stirs in him, in me, and trembles there inside of us. Being able to play is meaningful. Being able to play the song, an unexpected second chance. What else might we have recovered here? The final lines flood our mouth and hands, the chapel awash in desire and artificial starlight. I don't want to ruin it with the last, with butchering that. We slow through the last few bars of unaccompanied piano. The ghost concludes. It's over. The ghost continues. Unable to stop, he races and climbs from the dirge-like pace of Das Wirtshaus towards a triumphal march. Though I'm free to speak, his music carries me along. I lose track of what I wanted to stay. Thundering, pounding, commanding the keys for what must be minutes until he's satisfied. His spirit detaches from me without ceremony. I barely catch myself. All my muscles disengage with him and almost drop me to the floor. Impressive reflexes. We did it. I didn't do anything per your request. What was that at the end? Liszt's rearrangement. I know it by heart. I was a victim of listomania. Sounds serious. Almost as bad as what Dracula did to me. Schubert is for sorrow. A series of clicks play along the keyboard. Liszt is for triumph. 10 atonal keys rise from their places like leaves reaching for the sun. I touch the nearest key. A dry rustle comes from underneath. Try pulling it. I suddenly don't want to. I have to. This is what we came for. I pull. It takes as much effort as a loosely rooted weed. The wires slip free of the internal mechanisms as the key tugs out. On the underside of the key is a desiccated stick with a pinkish strand dangling from the end. I set it aside on the bench. There are 5 grouped on the left, 5 on the right. I work through the rest of the left group. For the right, I place my hand underneath them, a finger below each, and find the tips of the sticks. When we make contact, they curl inward and catch onto me. All 5 come along together. I shuck the sticks from the keys. 10 total. The ghost's withered fingers are dead mirrors to what he's made of mine. We're a perfect match. I don't want to end up like him. Why did Dracula do this? We're a perfect match. We belong together. Since his fingers aren't attached, I tie the tendons in knot, 2 sets of 5, like a pair of cat o' nine whips. The sets go in my jacket pocket. They're bulky, indiscreet, but not immediately visible. What would you have done without me? Shut up. Where will you put our ever-mounting hoard? My suitcase has a lock. Locks are fragile. Oh. I thought that when like the jawbone pulled itself together and like danced away, I thought it went to join the ghost. But no, I'm just gonna be collecting body parts in my suitcase. In the future, I'll bring a safe. Never mind, rejoice, we're halfway to completion. Halfway? Here I was worried I may be pulling individual ribs from a cliffside. No, he was quite selective, nothing that didn't seem important or poignant. Each piece we clear from the board clarifies my view of what's left. Tomorrow, the gallery. Come armed. Shouldn't we do as much as possible tonight? I'd love to, but I'm afraid you're out of time. Miss Popskew. If you arrange my fingers, you can heal my leg. Fix me, then we can forget about her, and it's not her who's coming. Get away from the piano. Hurry! Heavy footsteps from the hall. Someone thudding closer. I hobble desperately over to a display of candles on the opposite side of the altar. Their color shifts from blue to dull yellow. I slump into a contemplative pose, just as an angry red figure fills the entrance. Master Renfield. Prince Dracula? Despite being somewhat prepared for his arrival, the overwhelming presence he wields forces me back a step. In the chapel. Curious. Striding between the pews, he arrives at my side. Admiring the decorations, the candles continue to dim in his presence. English churches don't look like this. England has a new faith. Ours is old. Romania's, not mine. I no longer abide. These decorations, all their glamour and expense, are meant as an earthly display of the might of their god. Pathetic. A deity that relies on such pettiness proves its own inadequacy. our Lord is unafraid to speak through scoured cities and spilt blood. When I interrupted the family, not Dracula speaking. When I interrupted the family, when I discovered they're vampires, that was a religious ritual? Who is your lord? The candles suffocate. Their smoldering wicks are all that's left to see by. Dardarat, Lord of Dominance, a devil worshipper who commits human sacrifice. In this castle, every crime a faith could be accused of happens in earnest. Things my grandfather and father and I have withstood baseless accusations of. We have wandered through years and centuries and millennia. Throughout history, dispossession hounded for no reason except plain bigotry. Here, Dracula sits eternal on his throne in abject guilt, unbothered. Real power, otherworldly or otherwise, is never having to be held accountable. Too soon. I hear your heart thrashing in its cage. Patience. Is this anger born of jealousy or righteous indignation? There will be a reckoning. After all, it is rare in this idle era for any god to lay his hand upon the world as ours does. Today, endure. Ah, what does it matter? Your anger is immaterial. Instead, let's interrogate your being here. He extends an arm around my shoulders and begins to walk us across the room towards the piano. I'm startled out of my rage. Why are we? The songbook is out on the stand. I agree the decorations are worth a look, but that wasn't why you came. A beautiful performance, if I may. Why try to hide it? Because I'm an amateur, it's embarrassing to have someone eavesdrop on my practice. Nonsense! Give yourself credit. That was a lovely rendition of... He looks at me wickedly. Pardon, I've forgotten the name. What was it called? There's no answer worse than not answering. Think, Roger, think. Winter wandering, winter rundagang, winter ice. So it was. I've been Dracula's way a little bit. So it was. You availed yourself of the castle library. Cesara does keep it tidy, doesn't she? Did she help, or did you find the book by yourself? It was a joint effort. She does not need me to protect her. How kind of her. We reach the piano. Dracula smiles at the book. We used to know a man who loved a winter ice. In his absence, I find it too painful to listen to. Cesara should have known. She will need reminding. Collecting the cane from the bench, he turns and removes us from the room. From the threshold of the bedroom, he throws me at the bed. I fall short and barely catch the edge. You can manage from here. The door clicks shut while I struggle to get my bearings. Hauling myself on top of the bed, I splayed out, staring at the canopy with unfocused eyes, taking the fingers from my pocket to confirm they're there. Clench the parched remnants of his hands in mine. Shudder in disgust. Dracula knows about Cez. What kind of reminder will he send to her? It was only a songbook. A songbook doesn't mean anything. I don't bother with pajamas. I can't. The best I can do is remove myself, remove my day clothes and lie in my underwear. He won't come when called. I have the fingers here, though. And there's a connection between him and his parts. Why won't you heal my ankle? I shouldn't expect a response. All those unwanted changes are not what matters. There's no guarantee he's hearing this. Come on, please. Nothing. Continue on alone. Like usual. I burrow beneath the covers. It's cold without without full-length sleeves or pants. Instants from sleep, there is a voice, rising from the dream to meet me like a wave crashing against a cliff as I plummet into the ocean below. Says got caught intervening. I'd prefer to stay undetected for now. We can while away a few hours together, though, somewhere private. Wait! We plunge in. Neither of us have any control here. We break through the turquoise surface and land in a golden plaza. Across the skyline are 1,000 pale sandstone buildings sporadically skirting in wooden scaffolding. People hurry about in vivid clothes, proving in an instant why England has a reputation for being gray. The city is crimson, teal, fuchsia, sunset ombres layered in rainbows. I'm a boy, with a paper bag of hazelnuts scrunched in his hand. The crowd is taller than me. They part to let me through, but not for my benefit. My tunic is dark, though I am brightly burnt, where it shows skin, and I have few accessories to add other color. A gaunt figure in mournful black. The alienation hurts worse than a loss. Who have I lost? I eat my snack and drift about the market. The baker in the corner is surprised to see me by myself. Where's the rest of the class? Once he's thought it over, the solitude and what I'm wearing, he offers apology bread. Is that how I got the hazelnuts, too? The market thins out into a half-constructed residential district. I live in the opposite direction, near the new palace at the dormitory. We aren't allowed past the market until later in our education, when we have stronger command of the language, when we can blend in. I am a special case. The Sultan likes me. The Sultan likes my uncle more than he dislikes me. Today is an unusual day. I'm wondering where this is being placed relative to the devil in the woods scene. Because I think these two are clearly connected, but they don't feel connected to the I guess it would seem to be after, but anyway. It doesn't seem to connect to the first vision we had. There was like the bathtub one. Along an empty alley, I balance on an uneven brick fence line, wobbling forward, toe to heel, bread hung from my mouth. He's gone. He was always gone. What difference does it make how he's gone when that's just what he is to me? What difference does it make how he's gone when that's just what he is to me? Everyone says it's different. Without realizing, I've come to a stop at the highest part of the fence. The last bite of the roll reveals a sharp drop beneath my empty fingers. The last bite of the roll reveals a sharp drop behind my empty fingers. Guess I'll have to turn back. The alley forms a wind tunnel. The draft plucks at the hem of my wide trousers and loose tunic. It's mid-afternoon. The sun has dropped behind the damaged administrative blocks to the west. Rotted roof beams throw their shadows around me. I shuffle about face on the fence. Just as I raise my rear foot to resume walking, something catches my trousers, billowing away from my ankle. I gasp and teeter on my leading foot. Cautiously, worried how I'll stay balanced, I look over my shoulder to see what's caught me. The shadows. It's the shadows, darkness taken form, 5 fingers that stretch further, the bright light. Further, 5 fingers that stretch further, the brighter the light they reach into. In immediate terror, I jolt along the fence. It tears a strip of fabric for itself. I don't care. I carry on. When I'm on flat ground, I let myself check again. Maybe it was nothing, the loose boards, an overactive imagination. The shadows use both. Two now, arms. The shadow uses both. Two now, arms to pry the rest of its umbral body from the fence. Patchy and skeletal, it looms like a vulture, assessing whether I'm fit to pick apart. Run? Obviously I have to run. Eyes back, I run forward, colliding with someone else. Ah! How do you keep getting in here? A man with hands the color and temperature of ice seizes me by the wrists. No, no, no! Roger, snap out of it! Stop! Come on, man, this is embarrassing. Get a hold of yourself. Huh? That's right. These aren't my dreams or my memories. I am Roger. When I look around, there's no one on the fence. I'm the ghost's height, more or less. Where are we? Finally. Welcome to Constantinople, the city of my youth. City of his. Are these your dreams? This all started because I thought I'd share my own formative memories of Dracula. It seems, though, that that having tapped this particular vein, there's no way to limit what spills out. Nobody's ever projected themselves this far into my mind, likely because no one has slept this close to me. Were the fingers a comfort? I was you! Age 9, recently enrolled in the Enderun, the first step on the path to becoming a janissary. There weren't many of us in this there weren't many of us this young in the capital. Those of us that stayed here were special. It was done as a favor for your uncle. Ah, so his uncle was killed in the okay. In bed with the Sultan, literally. An exception to any law that might obstruct his ascent. And I, holding on to him for dear life, flew in the face of it all too. Except where Uncle was a blessing upon them, I became a curse. A failed commander, the ruin of their campaign. Ultimately, their enemy. Not just a salesman. Swordsman, salesman. It all flows together in the end. When was this, Ghost? There's a familiar look in his eye. He's contemplating whether he can get away with lying. He's told too many half-truths and dodged too many questions. The dream is a corner that he's backed himself into. This is 1462. Present in the 15th century and in the 19th century, haunting us to this day. How much of that was he alive for? No ordinary victim. What are you? I can fix him! There's nowhere to flee. Ha! Flight or fight. A monster like the rest of them. Lightning strikes the world. It bursts apart into a million shards of ice. For a moment we're suspended in the void. The ice falls first. That melts and collects in a black sea beneath us. I reach for him. He dodges my hand. Without his support, I fall too. Plunge back into reality. Ha! We hope you've enjoyed this chase of Drăculești. Thank you for playing. It helps us out if you wishlist the game on Steam. We're the last few days. I think the Kickstarter campaign has ended. But I'm telling friends about it. Oh, this was a fun game. Uh, Renfield has been through so much. It is interesting how, yeah, so that was another hour and a half. So with the full I mean, I like by reading things out loud, I am taking more time with everything than it would like take if you're just reading through it. But I don't know, I just get so much out of like portraying I just got so much out of portraying the story this way. There was some conflict. I had conflict with the game a little bit when it came to uh navigating how flirtatious versus repulsive versus attractive because it's repulsive the relationship with the ghost is. Like, I thought that in the piano scene there could be a little more interplay than I was allowed by it because, like, I refused too strongly. I was, like, following those bold options. Like, this game isn't about choosing to be bold and be courageous. Sometimes you have to go with the flow to let things unfold, which I don't take issue with. Uh, but I wanted like a little more of like cause like the first two dates were so flirtatious and like alluring and seductive, and then the last one didn't have it felt like the third one didn't feel like it had as much it was easier to have Renfield refuse than be seduced in that. So we had to go back and like be seduced a little bit more. So Drăculești is linked in the description. If you need to check it out on Steam, give it a wish list, give it a follow. I don't know. I think they do have a release date at this point. No, still no release date. But it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me for like this wrap up of this demo. We'll be streaming tomorrow, but this was just a bonus. And I will see you later. If you're not into ARPGs, which will be streaming tomorrow, Friday, come back. Watch this space. Watch this space. I don't know if I'll be streaming next week. Until whenever. Bye.